Thank you guys for coming. I am Kevin Foreman. I'm the Director of Product Vision at Vectorform, where we partnered with DTE Energy to bring DTE Insight to DTE customers in Michigan. And so before I get into and show you a demo of the actual application, I want to give you guys some background in terms of how we came up with this platform and some of the features that we came up with. First of all, we all want to save energy at home, right? And a lot of the utility companies nationwide, and DTE as well, will often run a lot of energy campaigns to reduce your consumption at home. I've taken advantage of the Your Energy Savings Program that DTE rolled out when I first moved into my home and replaced a lot of my light bulbs with LED or CFL. And so all of these campaigns are rolled out nationwide, but one of the issues with these campaigns is they don't have a huge efficacy. What we see nationally is that you see about a 2% reduction in energy over a long period of time. And one of the reasons for that is because the tools to actually see how well you're doing when someone's telling you to do something have been lacking, right? So you say, okay, let's go and replace my windows, or replace all my light bulbs with LEDs. The problem is it's very hard to track the actual value of doing something of that nature. And so the tool that we have normally on a monthly basis is our bill, right? So you can go out and you go buy $400 worth of LED bulbs throughout your home, and you expect to save quite a bit on your monthly bill. But at the end of the month, after 30 days, you see that your bill actually potentially have went up. And that is because there's a lot of variables that go into an energy bill. And so trying to figure out the impact of your actions and your behavior on your energy bill is very difficult, to say the least. So together with DTE, we knew our mission. We wanted to provide customers innovative mobile tools to help them have the engagement that is lacking sort of with the standard utility bill. And one of the best ways to drive engagement and give people the right tools is with real-time energy, right? How many people here drive a car that has the instantaneous miles per gallon readout? Okay, about half. That's awesome. And so you guys know that as you're driving, you can see really the impact of the cause and effect when you do a really fast acceleration or really hard braking. You can see that your average miles per gallon and your instantaneous miles per gallon are going to be extremely affected as you're doing that activity, rather than when you get to the pump at the end of your gas tank and say, why did I get to my pump so quickly? When you have access to these kind of tools, you can better see this cause and effect relationship with the data. And that's exactly what we wanted to bring to real-time, to the energy space. But real-time only gets you so far, right? It doesn't show you patterns. And in the context of energy, patterns are everything because it shows you how you're using energy. And so we spend with DTE a really long time to try to solve this problem from a UI and UX perspective. How can we show real-time but give great energy patterns and data to customers? And what we came up with is what we call a 24-hour energy clock. And so what we've done with the energy clock is provide both real-time and contextualized patterns in one easy-to-consume view. So in the center dial here, you'll see that this is an actual screenshot from my use. It's not static, it's static, it's not live right now. But I was at this point using 825 watts. And just below that, you'll see our delta graph. So if I turn on the AC in my house, you'll see this graph in the center here shoot up really high. If I turn on my LED bulb, which is 4 watts, you'll barely see a blip at all. And so around our clock, you'll start to see patterns. You'll see this gear-like pattern that goes around the dial. And what you see there is really my refrigerator cycling on and off. And so very quickly, you can start to identify patterns and appliances within your home with this unique 24-hour energy clock that's giving you some context of how well you're consuming energy and what appliances are using energy throughout your daily basis. And so there's a little side note here. I actually had a party on a Saturday night a while ago, and when I woke up on Sunday, I noticed that that gear-like pattern was missing. So I immediately knew something was wrong with my refrigerator. I walk over to my refrigerator, and I noticed that the door was left open. And so my compressor on the refrigerator was running constantly and didn't provide this gear-like pattern. But with knowing the patterns of my energy use, I can immediately start to identify problems within my home very quickly. You can also see things like when I get home from work, which is right around 8:30. When I go to bed, so I have a development background, so I sort of still have my night owl bedtime about 2:30 a.m. And we also have brought this concept of an energy target. So if on a daily basis, I have set my energy target to 17 kilowatts on a daily basis, and this graph or this 24-hour energy clock will let you know when you've exceeded that target and at what time. So you can really help budget your energy savings. Now, in order to provide something like that 24-hour energy clock, we knew we needed some great hardware in order to be able to collect that data and display it with that high of resolution. And so we looked at sort of the industry. 5 minutes? Okay, so I'll run through this very quickly. There's a lot of stuff here. We knew we needed to create our own hardware, and so we looked at the landscape, and we see that there's a lot of great stuff out there, but at the end of the day, we knew we needed to make our own because the hardware that existed out there didn't provide the exact resolution that we wanted. And so we started building our own hardware. We prototyped on Arduino. We started using Zigbee radio because that's what DTE uses in their AMI infrastructure. And we were able to come up with a unique industrial design. We had a lot of ideas in mind. But at the end of the day, a square white box is the cheapest and easiest to manufacture. And we also really wanted the focus to be on the software experience rather than the hardware. So we really wanted you to have this plug-and-play interaction and then have to forget about the hardware so that we could focus on the software experience. We also, of course, designed our own circuit board, and we completely designed, built, and manufactured this entire product within the state of Michigan. So all the companies that we partnered with to make this product are Michigan-based, and we designed and produced it in Michigan. One of the other things that, other than real-time feedback, that we really think drives and really has driven a lot of engagement within the platform is disaggregation. And so, people really want to know what their individual devices are using throughout their house. And there's a lot of tools out there that you can use, things like the kilowatt, but those get expensive and they sort of lack context. You can also use device load profilers, but of course, if you want to look at every device in your home, that's going to get quite expensive. So we had another goal. We wanted to provide a very low-cost, easy-to-use way of trying to figure out the specific savings within your home. And what we came up with is, it's pretty cool. We call it PowerScan. PowerScan allows you to determine the amount of power of any device with a power cord directly on your iPhone with no additional hardware. We use the exact hardware that's inside the iPhone. And so you can hold this up. In this photo here, what we're doing is we're holding up an iPhone to an LED or a lamp that has an LED light in it that's using about 8 watts, right? You can set the amount of time that you use that device on a daily basis. In this point, we used 5 hours. And it will tell you at the end of the month how much that costs you, how much that device will cost you to run if you use it that much. And in Michigan, we have some relatively cheap energy, so it's only going to cost us 2 cents to run an 8-watt LED light bulb for 5 hours a day on a monthly basis. If I use an incandescent, you're going to see that shoot up to over $1. And if you multiply that by 30 days, over a year, that it really adds up. And you can really start seeing the delta or the savings by switching from LEDs from incandescents. So a lot of people, just really touch on this really quickly, a lot of people don't believe us that we can pull this off with just an iPhone with no additional hardware. And what happens when you run electricity through a wire is it creates an electromagnetic current. But we have a sensor in all of our phones that can detect magnetic fields, and that's essentially what a compass does. It detects the magnetic fields of the Earth. And so we can use the compass within inside an iPhone to be able to actually read the current running through any device with a wire. And boy, have we patented it. So we had these 2 ideas. I know I'm probably running out of time, so I'm just going to run through these very quickly. Some of the core features that we've built into the software side of the experience are what we call our auto binding solution. So in order to bind our Energy Bridge device to an AMI meter, it has to go through a very secure process. And what we've done in our pilot phase, we actually had a 72-hour delay between calling up DTE and having it bind to your meter. And we were able to automate that entire process for the user so that all they have to do after they receive an Energy Bridge device from us is press a single button within the app experience, and they have real-time data instantly within the application. Second, users really wanted to see this data outside of their home. They don't want to have to be on their home network because there's a lot of scenarios like these 3 you see here that people really want to do outside of the home. And so what we came up with was what we call our secure relay server, which sets up all of the security and all of the complex technical attributes completely automated for you during the auto binding process. And finally, we've done some things in order to really increase retention rate, because after about a month of use of just looking at your 24-hour energy clock, you start to understand your daily story. And so there's really not a lot of driving factors to come back with the app, at least within our pilot phase. And we really focused on 3 specific areas to improve that engagement. And we'll very quickly go through these. One is our dynamic coaching engine. So we're going to present a lot of information to you in context of energy consumption throughout your daily basis. Things like weather and whenever the weather is going to affect your energy consumption. Being able to compare you against the community. And being able to compare you against other homes like yours, which a lot of other services still lack. And finally, we have energy spikes. kind of self-explanatory there, but we definitely want people to be able to see an energy spike and then click the View Details button and go directly to that day's 24-hour energy clock to figure out what was going on. We also have challenges in the gamification engine, so it really drives people back on a weekly basis. And of course, we're about to release our community aspect as well that's going to allow people and friends and family to compete with one another. And so we have a quick video. I'm not sure if we have time. It's about 1.5 minutes. All right, here we go. 1.5 minute video.
Saving money on your energy bill is difficult. Where do you even start? DTE Insight, a new application from DTE Energy, gives you the power to know exactly how much energy your home is using. And, even more precisely, what appliances are using that energy. With the DTE Energy Bridge connected to your advanced meter, DTE gives you a real-time look into exactly how your home is using energy and where you can save. Explore your energy use with Insight. Turn your appliances on and off and see the immediate impact. DTE Insight doesn't stop there. With the included Power Scan tool, you can see exactly how much energy a device is using and how much it costs you, right then and there with no additional hardware. And once DTE Insight learns how you consume energy, it begins to provide you personalized tips to maximize your energy savings. Start saving money and energy today with DTE Insight and see how a little insight can make a big difference.
So you got to see a lot of the app in action with that video. And in terms of results, last slide, I promise. In terms of results, we've been in market for about 7 months. We launched in July of last year. And we've received over $40,000, and that's, of course, just within the state of Michigan and just within DTE's territory. So it's far exceeded our target of $10,000 within the first year. We've also remembered that 2% energy reduction cost from traditional campaigns. So we've only been in market for 7 months, so we don't have the actual concrete we haven't gone through the concrete analysis of an actual official number, but we're targeting between anywhere from 9 and 12% with this platform. And finally, we increased our engagement rate from that 35% that we showed earlier all the way up to 62% with adding that gamification platform. So it's really been a great, successful platform for us, and we've got a lot of exciting things to announce in 2015, so keep an eye out. Thank you.